They said the gods see all things, but sometimes even the eyes of men reveal deeper truths. In the golden stretch of Omu village, where dusty winds carried whispers and markets buzzed beneath ancient trees, there lived a humble man named Ikena. He was not a man of great fame or fortune. His hands bore the marks of labor, and his days moved like the slow drumbeat of dusk. Ikena owned nothing more than a few animals and a modest shed where he shaped blocks of butter. With the care of a craftsman and the patience of a monk, each market day, Ikena would carry a block of his butter, pressed and wrapped in palm leaves, and walk miles to the bustling town of Uzochi. There, a wealthy trader named Obina owned the largest store in the square. Obina had shelves lined with sugar, rice, salt, and spices from beyond the hills. The villagers called him the man with the golden hands, for his wealth seemed to grow like wild yam in rainy season. There was no contract between Ikena and Obina, no record scratched into wood, no coin exchanged. Ikena brought butter. Obina gave sugar, rice, and salt. The trade was balanced by trust, a rare thing in a world where many weighed goods and not hearts. For many seasons, this quiet exchange continued. Butter for sugar, salt for honesty, grain for peace of mind. But one morning, as the cock crowed over the rooftops of Uzochi, something stirred in Obina's chest, a flicker of suspicion. Perhaps it was pride. Perhaps it was the whispers of others who measured wealth with distrust. He looked at the butter from the last trade and thought, was it truly a full measure? And so for the first time in many moons, he placed the butter on his iron scale. The needle trembled and settled just below a full kilogram. His heart tightened like a rope pulled too far. Had he been tricked? All this time, the sun rose. Market day came. Ikena appeared, his shoulders dusty, his hands carrying butter wrapped in leaves as always. This time, the wind did not carry greetings. It carried silence. In front of Obina's stall stood curious eyes, traders, children, women with woven baskets. Obina pointed at the butter with a frown heavier than his voice had ever carried. He declared the wait was short. That trust had been broken. But Ikena did not tremble. His eyes, dark and steady like the soil after rain, looked not with anger but quiet resolve. And in a voice firm like carved wood, he said the one thing that would silence even the noise of the wind. He said he had never owned a scale. He had never used weight or iron to measure. Every week he placed the sugar Obina had given him on one side of a wooden plank and shaped the butter to match it. The market froze. The wind stopped. Even the goats seemed to listen, and Obina, the man of riches, the man with golden shelves, now stood weighed by something heavier than butter. Truth. He had, all along, been weighed by his own measure. And in that moment, the people of Uzochi saw what Ikena had always known, that life is not counted in grams or coin, but in balance. From that day on, no one ever questioned Ikena's trade. His hands were trusted more than any scale. And Obina, he learned that wealth is not what you hold, it's how you give. Moral of the tale: in the land of measure, it is not the weight of the goods, but the weight of the heart that matters. What you give is what the world weighs back to you.